Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm just sharing the links. Do well to help me share the links as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. Please help us to share, help us to like. Hello, Anita. Welcome. Please help us to share the link. We will start in the next 5 minutes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. We will be starting shortly. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Okay, I'm just trying to set my TikTok, but it's not working. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to today's talk. Thank you so much. Thank you, people. You can watch us live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on TikTok. And is your favorite rural health advocate. And we are back today with something special, something interesting, something nice, and something amazing. I just can't wait for you to hear what I have in store for you today. Don't forget to leave your comments. Don't forget to leave your likes. Don't forget to leave your shares. We are here to learn. We are here to understand how things go. And I'm here for you. We are here. Feel free to ask questions. Feel free to make contributions. Feel free to make an impact because we are here to make impacts. We are here to make contributions. We are here to ensure that everyone learns. We are here to make sure that lives are being transformed. Okay. So thank you all very much for tuning in today. Today is louder than the screen. We know what louder than the screen is, so I'm going to explain a bit. Please share, please comment, please follow this, please follow, like, share, and comment. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you very, very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Today we are going to be looking at the topic I title Louder Than the Screen. Light louder than the screen is a family conversation that protects a generation. So we are going to have that family conversation that protects that family conversation that protects a generation. That family conversation that protects a generation. So today we will be looking at comprehensive sexuality education. We'll be looking at HPV awareness. We'll also be looking at cervical cancer prevention, and we'll look at girls, boys, women, and men. Good evening, mothers, fathers, teenage girls, teenage boys, uncles, aunties, guardians, educators, women, men. Welcome to Healthy Community, and I'm your host, your rural health advocate, Warren Obipesebima. Tonight's conversation, you know how we do it here. We have conversations. So tonight's conversation is not a girl's talk. Tonight's conversation is not a woman's talk. Tonight conversation, and it's certainly not a conversation that fathers and sons should switch off from. Tonight, we are actually talking about something that concerns the entire family. Our theme today is louder than the screen. Please don't forget to share the live, like, subscribe so that we'll have more people join us to learn. So is that family conversation that protects a generation? Because when our homes are silent, okay, somebody else starts talking to our children, our nieces, our nephews, our cousins. And today, that somebody is often holding their attention through a screen. Our daughters are listening, our sons are listening to, they are receiving messages about their bodies, masculinity, relationship, sex, consent, pornography, popularity, appearance, and what supposedly makes somebody a real man or a real woman. So tonight the question is, whose voice will shape them? You know how we do it here. So, whose voice will shape them? You leave your comment, you leave your opinion, and then at the end of the day, we go through it. So, whose voice will shape them? Will it be the algorithm on social media? Is it their friends, an influencer, a TikTok influencer, an Instagram influencer? Whose voice? Is it pornography? Is it a stranger online? Is it, or will they have informed parents, guardians, and trusted adults who are brave enough to say, you can ask me anything, we can talk about anything. So, whose voice do you think will shape the generation of today? So, I want us to understand. Thank you, Kila. Kila says both parents' voice will shape them, and that is true. And I want us to understand that our informed family conversation must become louder than the screen. Now, if you're a parent listening to me, or a guardian, I want to say something that is extremely important tonight. When we talk about comprehensive sexuality education, okay, please don't educate only your daughters. Sometimes we make that mistake of preparing the girl for everything. Protect yourself, be careful, don't get pregnant, don't allow anybody to touch you. And then we look at the boy and say, almost nothing. But who is talking to our sons? Who is teaching the teenage boy about boundaries? Who is teaching him that consent matters? Who teaches him that no does not mean convince me? Who teaches him that pressure is not actually romance? Who teaches the teenage boy that sharing somebody's private photograph is a betrayal of trust? Who teaches him that pornography is not an instruction manual for a healthy relationship? So, the same way our girls deserve comprehensive sexuality education, is same way our boys also deserve comprehensive sexuality education. And to the young men watching me tonight, I want to speak directly to you. Becoming a man is not about proving how many girls you can attract. It's not about forcing yourself to appear sexually experienced. It's actually not about allowing your friends to pressure you into behavior you're not ready for. So hold that thought and we'll be right back. Let's look at our comments. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Keep sharing, keep liking. Thank you so much. Please keep sharing. We need more people on board. So yeah. So when you talk about strength, strength actually includes a self-control. Strength includes respect. Strength includes being able to walk away from pressure. Now, strength includes accepting another person's boundary. Strength includes protecting your own health. Now, and strength includes being able to say, I don't know, I need advice. A healthy young man does not need to prove himself by taking advantage of another person. He learns to respect himself and others. Now, somebody may ask, but Prissy, tonight we are also talking about cervical cancer. What does that have to do with the boys? This is where our education must become comprehensive. The human papilloma virus is not simply a woman's issue. HPV can infect the male as well as female. So our sons also need accurate information rather than, shame and misinformation. Depending on the country where your family lives, boys may also be included in the national HPV vaccination program. So cannot, this is why sexuality education cannot be tell the girls everything and leave the boys to figure it out. No, we must educate both of them, fathers, husbands, brothers, and men listening tonight. To I want you in this conversation too, because cervical cancer may occur in a woman's service, but preventing diseases and building healthy families should never become a woman's burden. A husband can ask, have you checked when your cervical cancer screening is due? A father can participate, in conversations about HPV vaccination rather than saying, go and ask your mother. A father can teach his son, we respect women. We do not pressure anybody sexually. We take responsibility for our actions, our choices. Men can support women to seek screening, vaccination information, and appropriate health care without, stigma or embarrassment. So, our sons actually watch how the men in their lives behave. A boy learns something about relationship when he actually observes how his father speaks to his mother. He learns something when he sees whether women are respected. He learns something when men apologize, listen, and actually take responsibility. Sometimes I want us to understand that the sexuality education we actually give our children is not what we say, is what we model. So I can say something else and do something else. But the sexuality education is not what we give our children, is the example, is a role we model to them. Now, so when we say comprehensive sexuality education, what should our sons and daughters actually learn? What do you think our sons and daughters should actually learn? We could use the comment section. When we say comprehensive sexuality education, what do you think our sons and daughters should actually learn? Their bodies and puberty, they should learn about menstruation, reproductive health, their emotions, friendship, healthy relationship. They learn about respect, they learn about consent, they learn about recognizing abuse, grooming, and also exploitations. They should learn about online safety, sex texting, pornography, and digital pressure. Now, peer pressures, decision making are all these things they should learn about when it comes to comprehensive sexuality education. Also, it's very important we understand that comprehensive sexuality education is actually about developing knowledge, values, and life skills. It's not merely providing information about sex. Okay. So we teach according to age, and that is why it's called age appropriate. So we teach according to age. What you explain to an 8-year-old is not what you explain to an 18-year-old or a 15-year-old. But the conversation should grow as the child grows. So every conversation you have with regards to comprehensive sexuality education should grow as the child grows. Okay, so viewers, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? We are going to play a little game, but I'll be right back. So please don't forget to share, keep sharing, keep liking, keep commenting. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. So keep sharing, and we'll be right back. Okay, so let's have that interactive family challenge. Are you ready? Are you ready? So let's have that interactive family challenge. Let's go, people. So I'm going to give you some statements, okay? And you tell me in the comments, boys, girls, or both. So I'm going to give you some statements, and then you tell me in the comments, boys, girls, or both. So who should learn about consent? Is it the boys, the girls, or both? Let me see you use the comment section. Who should learn about HPV? Is it the boy, the girl, or both gender? We should understand healthy relationships. We should learn about online safety. And we should know how to recognize inappropriate sexual behavior. Good evening, Counselor Amos. And we should learn that nobody, absolutely nobody, has the right to pressure another person sexually. Is it the boy, the girl, or both of them? And we should learn how to seek professional advice about sexual and reproductive health. So is it the boy, the girl, or both of them? So you see that it's both parties. So when we educate only the girl, we educate half the community. Now there is one part of tonight's conversation I actually want us to dissect, okay, that our women must take particularly serious is cervical cancer. Now, persistent infection with certain high risk types of HPV, if you've been following us during our Saturday talk shows, we've always been talking about HPV, we've always been talking about cervical cancer. You see that HPV, high risk types of HPV, is actually responsible for almost all cervical cancers. Now, prevention includes the HPV vaccination, appropriate cervical cancer screening, and timely treatment of precancerous changes. Now, the girls, you have to learn why HPV vaccination is offered and follow your country's vaccination guidelines. The boys, you have to understand the HPV. You have to protect your health, okay? You have to respect others. Women, you have to know when you're due for your cervical cancer screening. Now, the men, you have to encourage and support the women in your lives. Now, I want us to understand that our take home today should be that knowledge belongs to everybody. Even when a particular disease affects one part of the population, knowledge belongs to everybody. We begin to have unusual bleeding, sometimes in the women, unusual vaginal bleeding, including bleeding between periods after sexual intercourse. So, after sexual intercourse or after menopause, you're still bleeding after menopause. So, screening is for prevention and early detection. So, I feel fine is not the same as I'm up to date with screening. There are two different things. I feel fine is not the same as I'm up to date with today's screening. Now, let me take you through the father and the son conversation. The father, the son conversation. Let me take you through that conversation. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Keep sharing, keep liking. Now, let me give fathers, uncles, brothers, cousins watching tonight a challenge. Have a father and son conversation, not conversations like, are you chasing girls? No, 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 no. We are way past that kind of conversation. In this our century, we are way past that kind of conversation. Are you chasing girls? Sorry, no. Don't bring not a conversation like don't bring pregnancy into this house. I'm warning you, do not get pregnant. I'm warning you, do not get the lady pregnant. No, we are way past such conversations. Now you need to go and do something deeper, something intimate that your parents obviously or did not do for you or with you. So you ask them questions. What pressure are boys your age facing? Talk to me. I want to know so we know how to go about it. What are your friends saying about girls and relationships, about sex? So, what do you see online that actually confuses you that you need me as a father, that you need me as a guardian to clarify? And then you ask the boy, Do you know what consent means? Do you know how you should ask for permission before you do anything? So if somebody sends you an intimate photograph, what would you do? You have that relationship with your child. So if you made a mistake, would you feel able to come and talk to me? Growing up, some teenage boys, teenage girls, when you make a mistake, you do not have that relationship with your parents. You do not have that relationship with your guidance to actually, talk to them about your mistakes, about the lives you're living, because you're afraid, because you think that something, they will do something bad to you, or they won't take you serious, or they will hate you. So you bottle everything up, and then you grow up with trauma that you've not really healed from. And fathers, uncles, when that child begins to, speak to you, don't laugh at him. That's the mistake you should never do. Don't laugh at that child. Okay, don't shame him. Listen, because if dad becomes impossible to talk to, somebody else will gladly become his teacher. The social media will gladly become the teacher of that boy. The friends will become the teacher. The uncles or anybody the child sees will become his teacher. Now, let's go to the mother and son conversation. So, mothers, I want us to don't assume you cannot speak to your sons because you're a woman. No, 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 no. Don't assume you cannot speak to your sons. You can teach your sons respect, okay? You can teach your son boundaries. You can also answer questions. And you can say, when there is something I cannot answer, we'll find somebody trustworthy who can answer, because a boy needs safe adults around him. Yes, the boy child is also molested. The boy child get molested as well. So you need to keep safe adults around that child. You need to educate the teenage boy. Now, there's what I call the family formula. Listen attentively. The family formula is you talk, you teach, and you model. So I'll take that again. The family formula is talk, teach, and model. That is the family formula. Now you want to create a home. When you're talking about talk, the family formula talk, you create a home where difficult questions can be asked. Now you listen before you lecture. So you create a home where difficult question, your child could walk up to you and ask you difficult questions. Then you listen before you lecture the child. You listen attentively. Now, the family formula two, which is teach. So you give the girls and the boys accurate, age appropriate information about their bodies, about relationships, about consent, about HPV, safety, and health. And the third family formula is let you, as an adult, demonstrate the respect. So if you're teaching me, your child, your teenage girl, respect, I should be able to see you demonstrate that respect, responsibility, and healthy relationships that you expect from young people. So don't forget, our take home today should be the family formula. You talk, you teach, and you model. Now, don't only teach your daughter what kind of man to avoid, teach your son what kind of man to become. Teach your daughters what kind of woman to become. Don't only teach your daughters to protect her boundary, teach your sons and your daughters to protect another person's boundary or to respect another person's boundary. Now, don't only tell girls to make responsible choices or tell boys to make responsible choices. You need to raise boys and girls who understand that responsibility belongs to them. So we need to begin to raise boys and girls that understand that, okay, responsibility actually belongs to us, not just one person. So I want you to go home today and ask your son or daughter, what are young people your age talking about that adults don't understand? Okay, there are some new slangs, new words that are in vogue right now. So you ask them, what are young people your age talking about that adults don't really understand? Then listen attentively. We as humans, we are we barely know how to listen. We just want to talk, we just want to contribute. But there are people, you need to listen, you don't just hear. Okay, there's a difference between you hearing and listening to understand. So when your son or your daughter or your nephew or your niece is talking to you about relationship, about what comprehensive sexuality education is, you should make a conscious effort to listen and understand. And when you listen attentively. Now, how would they know that you're listening to them and you're understanding what they're saying? Okay, you try to summarize everything they've told you and say it back to them, so they'll be able to say, okay, yes, auntie, uncle, mommy, daddy is actually listening to me. So I have I have a friend that I could speak to when things are like this. So you ask your son or your daughter, your niece or your nephew, what are young people your age talking about? Because right now there's a lot of slangs in town, so you also need to learn what kind of slangs they use. So, what are young people your age talking about that adults do not understand? Then you listen without immediately preaching or interrogating, or trying to shut them up, or say things that would make them shut up and not say anything to you. So you keep that aside, you keep your holier than thou outside attitude aside, and listen to them attentively before you ask questions. Okay. So women, sexually active women, I'm giving you an assignment this week. Okay. Find out if you're currently due for a cervical cancer screening, or if you even had if you've had the pap smear screening, or if you've not had it, just go to the nearest healthcare facility and ask them so you could have the pap smear screening. Now, parents, I want you to find out whether your daughter, where applicable, or your son is eligible for the HPV vaccination under your national program in the country you find yourself. Now, men, make sure you make one practical commitment to actually support the health of the women and young people in your family. Mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, men. This conversation actually belongs to all of us. It belongs to everybody. Our daughters deserve information. Our sons deserve information. Growing up, you didn't have access to a lot of information. And sometimes you sit down, you ask yourself, if I'd had this information, if I've had a detailed, age appropriate, comprehensive sexuality education, I will not make the mistakes I made when I was a teenager. And that is the truth. That is the truth. You know that if you had had a detailed, comprehensive, age appropriate, education about sexuality, you won't make the mistakes. You won't be influenced by peer pressure. You will be open to speak up. If there's an adolescent forum or an adolescent corner where you would have gone to, to seek help. But all those things were limited for you growing up. Now you have the knowledge, you have the skill, you know what to do, you know what to say to that teenage child, that teenage boy, that teenage girl. Why don't you start now? You don't need a large crowd to start speaking to them. You need to gain their trust, you need to educate them so they do not make the mistakes you made whilst growing up. So I want us to understand that our daughters deserve information. Our sons deserve information. Do not forget the talk, teach model I told you about. So you talk to them, you listen attentively, you ask them questions, deep questions, not threatening talks like, do you not get pregnant? Do not be with that boy, do not be with that girl. No, sit them down. If you have to take them out for dinner, if you have to maybe watch TV with them, ask them questions, let them express themselves, let them tell you how they feel. So you sit them down and have that deep conversation with them. That is you teaching them, and then you model it. So if you're teaching your teenage girl or your teenage boy respect, they have to see you model respect. They have to see you, model consent, model boundaries. They have to see you do it. So it's like you practicing what you preach. It's not you telling me what to do and then you don't practice what you preach. So our girls actually deserve protection. Now, our girls and boys actually deserve protection. Like I said on one of our talk shows, even the boys get molested. And sometimes it's just being thrown under the carpet. Nobody says anything because even they come out to say this has happened to them. No one would really believe them. So our boys deserve guidance. Women actually need access to, cervical cancer prevention, screening, appropriate health care. And our men, our wonderful men, they need to understand why support matters. So I want us to understand that we actually cannot, we cannot, build healthy communities by educating half the population. So what do I mean? So you take the teenage girls, you educate them, and then you leave the teenage boys. No, that is half the population. We can't build a healthy community like that. We have to bring everybody on board to educate them. And we cannot complain about what social media is teaching our children when we have refused to teach them ourselves. You can't complain. Thank you, Mr. Carbon. You cannot complain that social media is teaching your child something, whilst you, as a parent, you, as a guardian, you have actually refused to teach them. You can't complain. So tonight, I leave every family with this challenge. Make your home a safe place for difficult conversation. Every family listening to me, make your home a safe place for difficult conversation. Make your home a safe place for difficult conversations. So I want you to talk about bodies and puberties with your teenagers. I want you to talk about emotions and relationships. Okay. I want you to talk about consent and personal boundaries. Talk about online pressure. Thank you, Raskaf. Talk about online pressure. Talk about sex texting. Talk about pornography with them. The thing is, if you don't talk about this with them, the world will teach them, and the way everywhere is going, social media is everywhere. So if you decide not to talk about it, uncle, auntie, father, mother, niece, nephew, the society will teach them, and it might not be good, it might be bad. So you have to step up and do the talking and do the teaching. Talk about HPV with them. If they're sexually active, talk about it with them. Talk about the use of condoms, the use of protection with them. Talk to your daughters, talk to your sons. Men, do not leave the room when the conversation begins. Thank you so much, Counselor Amos. That is the family model. You talk, you teach, and you model. TTM. Talk, teach, and model. TTM. Talk, teach, and model. Men, do not leave the room when conversation begins. Don't say, oh, it's for your mom, she'll handle it. Oh, it's for your auntie. No, you have to be part, you have to be involved in that conversation. Because you know why? A healthy community actually needs informed women and informed men. It needs empowered girls. It needs responsible boys. It needs mothers who speak. It's not mothers who compare their kids to other kids. No, no. We should be way past that right now. You need to stop. If you do that to your child, whether your child is an adult or your child is a teenager, you need to stop the comparison. You need to stop comparing your child to other kids. How will you feel if you compare your child to other kids? And then the child wakes up and tells you that, oh, okay, you're comparing me to this person, you're comparing me to that person. Are they not your mates? You feel insulted. Because if you're comparing your child to his or her colleague, why are you not like the prominent people out there, the billionaires out there? Because they were your mates one time. So we need to stop that comparison as parents, as guidance. So we need mothers to speak, fathers will listen, and children will know. I don't have to ask the internet first. We need to create a home where the kids do not have to go and start asking the internet first because they are afraid. We need to create a home where the kids can talk to someone at home freely without being judged. So this is healthy communities, okay? And I'm your rural advocate, Obipi Sebima. And tonight's message is simple. We are rounding up, okay? Tonight's message is simple. I want you to be louder than the scream. I want you to I want you to talk. I want you to teach. And I want you to model because we have a generation to protect. Yes, you can pray for them, you could do whatever, but you need to build that relationship with them. No, you can allow them to use the internet, but you also have to censor what they have access to on the internet. I know there are apps and how you could set the devices for them for you to know if they are going into maybe if they are going into a website that is not allowed or that is not age appropriate for them, you could have access to it. So you could also monitor what they watch from their phones, from their screens once in a while. If you're able to install those apps, so you'll be able to get a notification whenever they go on a website that is not appropriate for them. So tonight's message is actually simple. Be louder than the scream. You are a parent, you are an uncle, you are an auntie. I don't know about you, but for me, my siblings' children are my children. So they have every right to talk to me. So talk, teach, and model. We have a generation to protect because when you're within the adolescent, and sexual reproductive health, you get to see a lot of things, especially within the rural communities. And that is why I say we have a generation to protect. Do you know why? Because informed boys and girls become responsible individuals. Informed boys and girls become responsible individuals. Informed girls become empowered women. Informed boys become the empowered men. And informed families build healthier communities. Now, parents, what is the one conversation? I want you to take this home because we're rounding up. What is that one conversation about growing up, relationship, or sexual health that you wish your own parents had had with you? What is that one conversation about growing up, relationship, or sexual health that you wished your own parents that gave birth to you, flesh and blood, carried you for 9 months, had had with you? That one conversation when you were growing up that you wished your parents had with you. Now, teenagers, what is that one topic that you wish adults would explain without judging you? What is that one topic that you wish adults would explain without judging you, without looking down on you, without saying you're a bad or a spoiled child? Now, fathers, men, uncles, what can you as a man do differently to, make sexual and reproductive health conversations safer at home? Women, sexually active ladies, have you checked whether you are due for cervical cancer screening? So we need to sit down and have that talk. Not talks about don't have a boyfriend, don't have a girlfriend, don't have a man. No, we need to have a deep conversation with them. As I summarize, I'm just going to take you through the family model again, the family formula. I call it the talk, the teach model, TTM. Now, the talk, you have to go home, father, mother, create a home where difficult questions can be asked. Create a home where difficult questions can be asked. Listen before you lecture your teenager. Now, 2, teach. Give the girls and boys appropriate, age appropriate information. Like I said earlier, age appropriate, because the information you give to a 10-year-old or an 8-year-old is different from the information you will give to a 15 or an 18-year-old. Now, the age appropriate information should concern their bodies, relationship, consent, sex, everything. Now, the last one is model. You model it. Let adults demonstrate responsibility, respect, healthy relationship. Let those be demonstrated, because if you're talking and you're teaching them, they need to see you live it. And thank you all for joining. I'll meet you again next week, Saturday. This is Healthy Communities, and I am your rural health advocate, Obipi Sebima. I love you all. Do not forget to like, do not forget to share, and do not forget to comment. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Before we round off, I'm just going to read some of the comments. So Anita said on YouTube that sexual education and how to relate to the opposite sex without being judged will be the one question she would have asked her parents. And she also said community comprehensive sexuality education is a sex education curriculum that teaches children and young people about cognitive, emotional, physical, and social aspects of human sexuality. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Carbon. Thank you, Councillor Amos. Thank you, Kila. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Please, I'll meet you again next week, Saturday, and we are going to look more into comprehensive sexuality education and how you should answer the questions when your teenagers come asking you the questions. Have a lovely weekend, and I love you all. Bye-bye.